Good evening from the Pacific Northwest. It is 11 p.m. and Thursday is almost over. 1 hour away, and tomorrow is bill day. It's a lot. Oh my God. Let's talk banks. Now, I'm not a banker, and I've never worked for a bank, though one time I got a job at a bank, and then I got a job somewhere else, and I said no to the bank. I could just see me being a penny off in those chills and being fired for a penny. You know what I mean? Who knows where to roll to? It just happens. I don't care. Anyway, we're going to talk mortgages. We're going to talk about all the homes that are being repossessed, and I mean repossessed. People are losing their homes, and some people who are losing their homes are taking advantage of renters. In my neighborhood, there was somebody I knew quite well. Everybody did. He lost his home, did not bother telling the people who he rented his house out to until the bank came over with the sheriff and said they had to leave. And they said, we're renting, and this is who, da da da, and we give him this much, and we didn't know the house was being foreclosed on. And they said, oh, that is horrible. Luckily, that family had the parents, both of them, that put money together and put a decent down payment on the house, and they can afford it. In my neighborhood, there are signs in windows, do not trespass. Lawns are being let go because the banks are the ones that are supposed to keep it up and not the HOAs. That's according to the HOA, and the banks say that the HOA should be keeping it up if it's such a big deal. So they're going back and forth, and the house sits there for 2 or 3 years empty. Now, we're talking about HFA loans that usually have a pretty high PMI, and we're also talking about loans that if they drop the principal a little bit and would work with the people, not go against the people, but work with them, where the people cannot afford a real estate lawyer. But if the people knew that there is another alternative, and that it's how you're saying it. If you go to a real estate attorney, the first thing they say is a quick sell. I believe in a quick sell because it does make it, you're able to get a home a little sooner than if you'd filed complete bankruptcy. Complete bankruptcy is everything anyway, including the house, but you can actually do a quick sell and that's left out of the bankruptcy. That's good. You want to do a quick sell, okay? Well, if they're going to do a quick sell, makes sense to me. My house was bought for $310. It's down now to $197, $190. I don't know. As I speak, it's losing money. Can't leave the place. The payment is still as high as it was for $310. Okay. They will not take the PMI off. I've lived here 5 years. I have really good insurance through State Farm, and they refuse to remove the PMI or remove the principal. Now, of course, I'm going to straighten this out, and I'm going to go in and I will talk with them. I know how to do it, and I've seen enough that tells me what these people don't care about any of us. The president said they're supposed to work with you. They're not going to work with you. I mean, none of this makes sense. If you don't let the people stay in their house, redo everything, you've got A, an empty house, B, more economic crashes, and C, Your homeless goes up in your city. Doesn't look good. Looks really bad. Actually, it's not a reflection on us. It's a reflection on the banks. But the banks don't look at it that way. And obviously DC doesn't either. They'll be hearing from me too. Only not face to face. He's a little busy right now with North Korea. So, if you can go in and say, look, you don't want me to do a quick sell. You just don't. And if you do, I'll buy my own house back. It's worth $197. I'll do it for $187. Quick sell. Get rid of it. It's mine. But it goes back to me. To repurchase a home. It does work. And to convince them that dropping the principal and taking the PMI away would be the best thing to do. Now, in most cases, they all need hardship. In my case, I have enough hardship. I will probably qualify no matter what I do. I hope. I've got 43 different diagnoses, and all of them go together, and I'm dying. So, what's, I mean, nobody planned on it. It happens. And it's a long, slow process. So you don't die fast. You just gradually, the disease has side effects, and the side effects is what actually kill you. Right now it's doing a real hell of a job on my body. Anyway, back to the PMIs and the principal. So if you can get them to drop the principal, write a letter to FHA explaining the hardship and why they would not want to take a risk of you losing that house. And if you can keep on making payments lower than you're making right now and convince bank and FHA to lower them together. Now you got to remember, you have to work with both. If you don't work with both, the other one will screw the other one, and the end result will be you in the middle who is out of the house. I've worked with a lot of attorneys. Can you tell? It doesn't mean that they'll do it though, okay? I mean, that is no promise, and a hardship can be losing your job, health, children's health. It's define hardship, A good attorney could take this to court and say, define hardship. How bad does it have to be? Are you worried you're going to lose your bonus? Or, and the HOA is horrible. $454 a year, and all they do is a park that's full of methane. And they don't do the sidewalks outside your front yard, which, in my opinion, they should be. That's the cities. I'm a little confused as to why this HOA gets by with what they do. I refinished the fence in the back. You have to keep up the gate, and you have to keep up everything. If you don't, you get written up for not keeping your porch stained or your fence. And if your front of the house has even a newspaper in the front, you will be written up. You get threatening letters. I loved it. So, of course, I'm going to look at that and I'm going to say, what the hell? Yeah. I've already gotten a couple letters. When an HOA who belongs to the corporation which is Weyerhaeuser, who's in charge of Quadrant Homes. I'm going to name names. I own the house that they built, and it's cracking and has a lot of things wrong with it. And they're being sued for ISQA for mold in some of those homes, black mold. And then they screw their clients over by lying to them. Lying. It would be different if we had a swimming pool, tennis court, all that stuff. Cool. Put it in the park where the methane is at. We have wetlands they promised they would not touch, and suddenly we get notice that some bigwig bought the wetlands, bribed somebody, and is going to put in a small little market. I'd say it'd be about a half block from us. We have an albino deer that most of us protect, and they're right behind me. The albino deer and her mother, and I'm sure if the hunters didn't get her, because they were also hunting too close into by the homes, you could hear their guns go off at 10 o'clock at night, and it's like you're not supposed to be hunting at night. It's a day thing. The deer has to have, you have to be fair to the animal, and they have to be fair to us animals because we get shot. So, mortgages, wildlife, how people are treated. The economy has not gotten better. More homes are being lost every day. Some homes are going up in range of price, depends on where they're at. King County, Seattle, for instance, their prices are going back up. But if you live in an agricultural area like I do, the price is not going to go up. It stays the same or goes down. It's a hard place to work because you have to usually, drive to Seattle and back, which is almost 70 miles for a job, or you're in agriculture, or you work at one of the little hotels in the area or the shopping centers. There's work. It's just, there's a lot of people. Small town is growing because it's cheaper to live up here. It just blows up my mind. So anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing this week or next week, depending on doctor's appointments. And I actually made an appointment with a friend to have tea with her that day. And by God, I'm going to have my tea. Oh, I don't know what we're going to do. World War II snapped us out of the Depression. Think. How cozy is that? I don't like it. It smells pretty bad. And the neighboring Canada, who would also get hit if Mr. Un's missile can reach this far, it would hit Canada, Washington, parts of Oregon, and California. But it basically hit Canada and Washington State the hardest. I live in Washington State. You won't have to worry about the bank meeting. Now, knowing the banks, they would still want payment every month. Oh, there's got to be an answer to this, and there is. I mean, as Americans need to put our heads together. It shouldn't be up to just a handful of people as to how things are handled. These banks, we can break them. Oh, completely break them. They're breaking us, and they don't care at all. They just give their people to mouth off. It's almost like they're reading a script. I think they are. So, on that note, this is The Life for myself and Sean Blumenfeld and your pesky vlogger. I'll talk to y'all soon.